All right, great, great, great. All right. So being being fantastic. Although I do have to admit feels in feels in failure a lot of the times.
You what? Sorry, you feel
feel,
you're
feel,
in.
feel, feeling in failure, failing a lot of the times.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but actually I think there is a lot of gains, a lot of progress that's being
Ah,
yeah in all
that's
fronts.
good.
Yeah. So I mean it's a pretty strange state to be in, I have to say. Have to admit.
What? Why do you think you're failing?
Why am I feeling? Oh, because well, it is attempting and going beyond my current capability, and not meet basically not meeting the goals I'm setting up, So
Ah,
yeah, but again, I think gap in the game does it's a perfect mental model to really look at, if look from where I started, I would say being a lot of progress. But just, compare
just
with
because you
what,
don't meet your goals doesn't mean it's a failure, though.
oh, okay. All right. That's true. I'm just saying that I have the emotion of being being failing.
And it also it depends on what your goal is.
All right. That's
I
right.
mean, if your goal is to build a rocket ship and fly to the moon in the next week, well, it ain't going to happen.
Right.
Kennedy gave the American people, the entire country, 10 years to do it.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So, you know, everything is relative, right?
Right.
It.
All right.
I think it'd be different if you were sitting there saying, "Oh, I've been trying to write 500 words of a book for the last 3 months and I haven't done it."
Oh, okay.
And if
All
that
right.
was your only goal
Mhm,
every day of every week for
mhm.
3 months, you don't
Right.
reach it. Well, yeah, okay. There's something wrong there, then, isn't there?
Okay.
And if you're
Right.
not learning from what's wrong,
Mhm,
then you're not you're not learning, and that becomes a thing. Well, that's not. But you see, then again, that's not something that you would call a failure. You would just sit there and go, well, why is it that I'm not doing the 500 words, for instance?
That's right.
Depends on the. I think it depends on the scale of the goal. Sorry,
Right.
I'm interrupting you.
Okay. No, it's fine. So that's again, let's start by sharing some wins. Actually, that's a win right there of admitting feeling failed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
I
I
like
want to
to
know
hear
what you're
about your
failing.
wins first. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said I want to know what you're failing at, or what you think you're failing at.
Oh, okay. All right. So basically, I set a goal to actually launch a webinar for the online course, the training course, the Chinese M. And actually it will be a more advanced version for it, but the webinar hasn't happened yet. Okay. Although I wanted to do a, before uh kind of like end of November launch. Okay, yeah. So I guess that's where the fill. And in fact, I haven't even recorded the first version of the webinar yet. Okay, given the 80/20 done is better than perfect. Like I know all these concepts. So right. But I did spend time on that. Okay, so the win here is there's been a lot of really deep, I think, reflection in the past week or so, just to prepare for this. Well, to look back at it, actually, that was less than a week ago. Actually, okay, yes,
Right.
because I mean, that a week ago, that was still end of November, right? I mean, December is not yet a week, so I was wanting to launch, uh, in fact, within a couple of days, but it's not yet launching yet. Okay, I guess that's the sense of failure. But the gain has been what I realized was okay. So there's probably high stake behind this because I did set a really ambitious goal of, the goal for the impossible, which is the 3-year goal of 1,000 students within the next, this month by the end of the year. And also to get over 150,000 in revenue. Okay, that will be in course sales. So that will be kind of the impossible goals by the end of this year. And yeah, but to do that, okay, basically, well, I'll probably will have to have a really good webinar and a really impressive offer. Okay, so I think that's the struggle, like how do I craft this really, really high value that's there versus the cost that's that's been. So the wins has been, I actually had to go really deep back and looking back at my last 5 years or even 6 years of exactly what have I learned, what have I gained in the last year in terms of my learning with Dr. Ben Hardy, right? And at Coach, okay? Basically, it's kind of like I have to do a really deep dive review of everything I've been learning or progressing, and then try to summarize that in 15 minutes, okay? And also make a great offer at the end. So that's kind of the task or the challenge I put myself up to. So the gain has been, okay, so I'll try to make this quick. Okay, so basically the preparation work, I think, helped me to really have a deep look at what really has happened in the past few years, especially the last year. And I can see that there's been a lot of, I guess, deep mental work being done. Like, okay, so there are 3 areas I think I have probably 10x. The first would be in the area of, resilience. Okay, so resilience, facing a lot of things, like losing 90% of our family passive income and then still be able to, be cool about that. And also, you know about the, I guess, the family relation, right? The issue. And so resilience was one. The other thing I think has been the health, the routine, okay, the sort of the routine and habits. Right now, it's been pretty strong. And I'm, in fact, waking at 4, completing a lot of things within the first 3-4 hours and even focusing more on health. And the third, I would say it's the goal, the ambition, confidence. That's kind of, that's been popping. And this is with regard to my future self. Okay, so a lot more clarity about future self and a lot more confidence that it's going to happen. Just, the pathways aren't clear yet, and there's struggle in the process, like right now, right? So I think that's basically a clarity on those things. Okay, and another way last week is yeah, thanks to your discussion, I also had a chat with Rebecca about doing the eco building project, and so she has also given some pretty good advice. So another thing was last week I also spent a day doing some survey of the eco buildings that's out there, and basically learn a lot more about what are some possibilities in terms of building one, in terms of materials, in terms of potential design. And in fact, I found one firm in Taiwan that can do like self buildings. If you're a landowner, you like to build a house on your own, they can help you with that. And a friend, Pin, he was actually in the Ascender advisory. Okay, so he was used to be the director of TechStarts in Taiwan, Asia. His wife actually is an architect. I connect with him last week, and he offered he could maybe ask his wife's opinion, or help on this. So at least I got some lines about how to draft a proposal. So that's progress as well. Rebecca's comment was she recommend me against minimizing my comfort. Okay. So, minimize what I feel comfortable doing. Okay, so that's but also minimize financial risk. Don't put myself in a risky position financially, right? So that's also, but otherwise, try to stay less comfortable. Okay, I think that was the general feedback. Okay, so yeah. And another way, I guess, Dr. Yang, after several drafts, the AI book, I actually haven't spent a lot of time on that, but the last draft, I think he finally kind of gave an approval that it's worth reading. So right now it's got comic, it's got stories, it's got summary of his interview, and he finally, so if he gives a goal, like a goal in terms of let's publish this, I think that's another great win as well. That means there's an SOP process, AI based, that can help experts to, I guess, spread their thoughts without much writing into that or editing. Obviously, that the book can be improved, but I guess the point is there's an SOP process now that can actually, churn out worth reading books worth reading, of reference value of some expert, knowledge. Yeah. So, all right. So that's it for me, and I guess I hope that answered your question about the feeling of failure. Yeah. But basically, I guess trying lots of new things and yeah. Okay. Setting high goals.
So I don't. So the only thing I really got from that about why you feel failure is because you wanted to launch your training program and for November, and you haven't.
I haven't done that. Yeah.
Okay.
The big launch should be by the end of December. Yeah. But
right.
Yeah. So
are you saying that the launch is a goal, or are you saying the achievement of 1,000 customers?
that's the goal. That's the goal. I mean,
which is the goal? The launch?
No, the launch is just a short-term goal. The goal is 1,000 clients and also 150,000 in revenue.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So you've got no way of measuring, or no way of gauging, I should say. You've got no way of gauging how successful or realistic that goal of 1,000 clients is. You've also got no way of gauging how successful the goal of, was it $1,500 each?
1,500. No, 150,000 total revenue. Okay,
yeah.
but
So if you've got 1,000 customers,
okay,
they're spending $1,500 each to get 150,000, right? Or is the maths wrong?
Okay, so actually the goal, okay, if it's 1,000, that would be actually $97 times 1,000. I think that's
not 150,000 then, is it?
No, and then also the next level is like $1,000 offer times 100 people. So right, okay. So actually the total, well, the ideal case, if we got right now we have like 2 tiers of offer. So oh yeah, by the way, I think this is like a discussion diagnostic now. So kind of the details. But I guess maybe just share the wins first. Okay, it's all right.
Okay, so I think it's important, because if you sit there and say, I'm not achieving this, that's a pain, right? And you get caught into the you haven't achieved the goal.
Right. The sense, right? Yeah.
But you've got to the clarity of the goal has got to be real. You know, it's got to be. It's not that it has to be realistic. It's just that you understand how you're going to do it.
Right.
You can
Okay.
have an unrealistic goal for some people, because being realistic is just a measurement, a subjective measurement.
Right. True.
Right.
Right.
I'm going to run a marathon tomorrow.
Right.
Now, that is unrealistic for me because I've got absolutely no education in doing that.
Right,
but if
right.
you take it to a marathon runner,
Right.
they'll go, yeah, okay.
Right.
See what I mean? Because they've got a different perspective, because their ability and knowledge and all the rest of it can tell them whether or not they can do it or not, right?
Right. Okay.
For me, it's just, in fact, I'll give you a real example of that.
Okay. Okay.
When I was 30,
Okay.
in my 30s, when I was in my 30s, I wanted to do a triathlon, you know, swimming, running, bicycling.
I know. Yeah.
Right?
I've done
proper
that.
one.
Yeah.
Before the age of 40.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't do it. When I got into my 40s, I thought, I know, I'll do it by the age of 50. Didn't do it.
Okay.
I'm now in my So,
All right.
you know, it's like, unless you put in the effort in,
Right.
to understand the mechanics which are required, how do you know whether or not it's an impossible goal, realistic or unrealistic?
Right.
And, you know, I think that's so for you. So you actually want $197,000 as your revenue, not 150.
Sorry. Okay. Just to be clear and exact, ideally it will be 1,000 people with the $100 offer. Okay, that's like the lowest, you know. So that will actually be 100K there. And then the next level is actually $1,000 offer. That's actually will be our main, kind of like the main flagship offer. Okay, so that's what I'm crafting the webinar right now. And 100 people, if you can enter, that's the goal. Get 100 into that. So that's another 100K. Okay, and there's a third level. Okay, there's a third level which will be priced at $5,000, and intend to just get 10 of them. Okay, that's like the highest level mastermind. That would be like 50K. So in total, if everything works out, it actually would be 250K of revenue of sales. Okay.
Yeah.
So and yeah, and of which I personally will take home half of that. You know, like so that's kind of like the breakdown. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 250 divided by 2, which is 125.
Right. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Well then, okay. So that's realistically what you're aiming for.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yes.
So being clear about that. Not, I don't know where the 150 is. The 150 is you just kind of going, meh.
Oh, okay. Right. The 150 is I want to have at least that much sales, 150. But if all those numbers are met, it's actually going to be 250.
But I think so go for your target is 250.
Right. That's right.
What you make, right? What you make is, regardless of what you make, whatever you make is your win.
Right.
Even if you make $1,000, you've made $1,000, and that's $1,000 more than what you've actually got at the moment.
Right. Sure.
But once you've done that and you've made your $1,000, then you go, right, what have I learned from that? How do I, and the next time is, well, all right, so really, based on what I did last time, if I do the same again, I'll get $1,000. What do I do differently to increase that?
Right.
And next time, the next iteration, you'll go, wow, I've got $50,000. Okay. So now I've gone from 1,000 to 50. How did I do? And that's how you work it out. And that's when you consider and go, well, all right, my target is, although my impossible goal is 250,000.
Right.
By putting together all the knowledge from my wins, I will be able to reach that within X amount of time.
Okay, and then start to have a more realistic estimate, right? in terms
Well,
of
then
or
it's
achieve
that you can kind of anticipate what you will actually
I
achieve.
see. Okay. Right.
Rather than going, well, I'll take 50% of that, whatever I get, and maybe that'll be anywhere from 75,000 to 125,000.
Right. Right.
So it's just about working the numbers with a the honesty of what's actually there, as opposed to the wishes of what you have. Because if you're wishing, what are you doing with wishes?
Right. Right.
However,
okay. All right. Thanks. It's
that's that.
all right. So
I think for okay. So look, okay. What wins did I have?
okay. Yeah.
Thing I really got right was doing this book. This book is the thing that I spent. So Thursday.
Oh wow! Wow.
Okay. That's the
right.
That's
okay.
The, thing, right?
The founder, right? John.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they so I spent some time on what I did is I've almost finished it, right? I'm almost at the very last chapter, I think it is now. Just before the very last chapter, and it's some deep kind of exercises,
right?
And I went into these exercises thinking, all right, well, I don't know, it was like 20 to 9 or something like that on Thursday, 8:30, something like that. I started getting in there. I didn't look up until whatever the time was that I answered your text an hour later, like at 20 to
okay,
10, right. And I suddenly went, where the hell has time gone?
That's flow. That's the classic definition of being in flow.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And like, so I'm really sorry about that. But
okay, no worries. I think that's a gain. That's a gain, right?
It matters because for me it's disrespectful to show up for a meeting. That's without even apologizing ahead of time. So I think that's it's just rude. So there you go.
Okay.
So then
just to let you know, for me, okay, I understand why it happened. So I congratulate you on that. Okay.
Thank you.
And and I do feel that, in the long run, that might be a better win than, you simply show up on time. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, what it did though is it prepped me so that on Friday morning, which is my personal development time.
Right.
I went into that more deeply. I mean, I'm not ashamed. I was crying. I had tears flooding down my face. I was really crying. So it's just a really interesting exercise to do, because I went to a place and a set of reasons and an insight into myself that I didn't fully. I didn't think I didn't even know it was on my radar. I didn't even know it was a thing that I was thinking about subconsciously. I had no idea.
Wow.
And so that's really interesting because that uncovered something that I all of my life has been sat there. I had no idea.
Right.
And so that's really, that in itself is that. So that was win really for me.
That's a huge win. That's a huge win. When you're aware of something that you weren't aware for a long time. I think that's a huge win. Yeah.
So anyway, so that's that. I think that's about it. And also, I mean, last week I got income sex click funnel.
Oh,
as far as I'm concerned, done.
Oh, great.
My daughter's looked at it. She's gone, but you haven't followed brand guidelines for the color scheme. You have this color with that color. Take away the exclamation mark. Started lots of really finite detail.
Right.
And I'm sitting there going, yeah, fine, yeah, okay. But, I mean, it's good enough, right? And she's right, And what's really interesting that all the people that have checked it out have come back with some feedback, which is really good. And if you want, I mean, if you're interested, I'll send you the link.
Yeah,
and
sure. do
Okay.
so. In fact, share it on the Slack channel as well. Okay, so people can have a look.
Okay. Okay.
That helps. That helps.
Okay. All right. But on so what it's done is it
Right,
so it
right,
answered a lot of questions
right. Okay, great.
that I had about doing a ClickFunnels that I can now
Okay.
sit there and slot into JCF's ones very, very easily.
Wow, wow, that's
I now know
huge.
how to do a workflow. It's really
Right.
bloody easy, but I didn't know at the time. And I was sitting there going, how do you do this? Oh my God.
Right. Once it's yours, right? Once you know it's yours.
Yeah. And so
Right.
that's fine. So the next stage is the advertising bit, is the paying for that. And I'm actually going through another set of iterative learnings to get myself. So I too have I want to see 1,000 users. I think 1,000 users is a really good measure.
Okay, okay.
You know,
It is.
regardless
Yeah.
of whether or not you quantify those as fully paying customers, leads, or whatever,
Right,
for
right,
each
right.
different stage, you can
Right.
use 1,000 as being a good kind of like,
It's a magic number. It's a magic number.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I've got to do all of that, but that's fine, that's cool. And then writing the offer script and all the rest of it,
Right.
thinking about how am I going to do that, what have I got to do there. So I've got some ideas for that. And
Okay.
again, it's about going back to the book and reading it. And
Okay.
I asked one of the technical guys, I said, oh, by the way, so now I've got this pretty much ready. Have you got any how-to or knowledge base about where to, how to launch it to different, from an advertising point of view? And he went, no, not on the site, but if you read the second book, Secrets of Script Writing, whatever it is,
Right.
and I thought that was kind of clever, the fact that even support kind of refer back to the books. So that's that. I think, look, there's a few, so those are my wins, right? So
Right,
I'd like to circle back because there's a couple of things that you said that I thought were really kind of important. One, you said you lost 90% of your passive income.
Right.
Are you referring to the money that was coming in from what's it, Celsius?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
You invested 400 grand and you got some money from that, did you?
400 grand. Yes, I think that was okay. Right. 400 grand. That's right. So
You told me before, and you said that.
right.
But were you getting a dividend for that then?
Yes, it was. They were paying about 8 to 10%, per year for the whatever. It's a bank, right? They pay interest on that, on your savings essentially, and it's there's no lock-in period. So the deal was back then, I think, was pretty good, and also given their, I guess, their reputation obviously before the bankruptcy. Well, so that I think that referred to the Celsius thing. Yeah, 400K. The good news is they are back from being bankrupt. I don't know if you read the news. Okay, it's no longer in the bankrupt. They are exiting Chapter 11 in the States now, and are ready to pay back for the people the money. So
they were an American company in Chapter 11.
Yes. They were,
okay.
they were in Chapter 11 restructuring, but they are exiting Chapter 11 now. So, I mean, there's a new management, and
Chapter 11 is such a con. It's such a con. It's a legal con that the Americans devised so that they can wipe down all their debt and then carry on in the same name.
okay.
But yeah, okay. So they're going to give you. Are they going to give you your money back? Are they?
Yeah, I'm expecting, maybe half of that, but that's better than nothing, right? So
Half.
yeah, this is just estimating. What happened is their liability, I think, was double the assets they actually own. So I'm, maybe half is an estimate. their
I see.
liability to the, is about, double their actual, they do still have assets. And the company, I think, is still making, making money. They will become more like a Bitcoin mining company now, given, the operation. Yeah, as opposed to like a bank. Yeah. But I think it's positive, I see it as a positive development. So yeah, so basically, all right. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, and I think maybe we should dive into any discussions.
I'm intrigued though, Shunyun, because you're okay, from a JCF point of view, I think I'll probably just all I will do is okay. I pick up my wife and daughter on Tuesday night.
Right.
So from Tuesday night, I'm not going to be doing anything.
Okay, I
I'm
see.
just taking the rest
That's
of the
fine.
week off. I might touch on email and stuff like that, but I'm not going to do
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
I'm pretty much cancelling any kind of well, not cancelling. I just haven't arranged anything during the day. So this Thursday, I probably won't do anything.
Okay, prepping for the holiday, right? As well. I think usually this is the holiday month.
Oh no. I mean,
No?
I'm not. I'll probably come back to. I'm not gonna go off for Christmas now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
A bit early for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying I won't for this week.
Okay. I see.
Be attentive.
Okay.
The following week, the 13th.
Okay.
I will be back to being attentive again.
Okay, good.
I've got meetings with customers and stuff like that. So
okay.
That's not a problem.
All right, great.
But yeah, so just this Thursday I won't turn up.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Yeah.
That's what.
Actually, I will be on the flight. Just to let you know, I'm flying to Canada on the 6th.
Okay.
This Wednesday. I will be in Toronto for 2 nights and then arrive at PI Saturday. So next week when we meet, I'll be in Canada already. Okay. And,
okay.
Yeah. And okay. Oh, another funny win. So I think this is when stars are aligning. So as I say in the beginning, I do feel I'm in a pretty strange state now. And I have to admit that it's not. I suspect this is the 10x process, because there's a lot of things and actually a lot of positive things happening right now in my life. Okay, I can say that for sure. Like, for example, this coming Tuesday, there's going to be an important meeting with Donald and some other fellows, okay, potentially discussing the formation of a fund that's going to be like backing up in the future an accelerator. So basically the social impact accelerator, it's actually taking shape now and into more concrete terms. We might just have an investor, and I'm being charged now with the proposal aspect, design aspect of this actually. So that's another win I haven't mentioned. Okay, but
that's huge. That's pretty good.
That's huge, and we're looking at least $1 million in Canadian dollars fund. I'm actually looking maybe more for that. But the other thing is, okay, so I was in transit for Toronto for 2 nights. I didn't, I knew there was a coach workshop sometime in December, and I will have my remote, in the 10 something. When I chat to Rebecca, I say, I will be going to Canada, and I know there's a physical workshop. It'd be nice if, I can just go to that physical one. So she checked the date. It was on December 8th. So what that meant was that's exactly the day I will be in transfer. So that was like perfect timing. So I will arrive in Toronto the 7th, 10 coach workshop on the 8th, and fly to PI on the 9th. Like,
very good. Very good.
I could not have arranged that, I couldn't have arranged that perfectly. So something must be going on. So.
No, that's brilliant. That's really good. That's really good. Who's it with?
It's with our coach last time. That's the same guy.
Russell, what's his name?
Yeah, Russell. Yeah, Russell.
Yeah,
Russell will
cool.
be hosting. Yeah.
That's
fantastic.
Cool. That's really cool.
So I look. Yeah. So next week this time I'll be at. I'll already have attended the workshop, and maybe share stuff with you by next week.
You'll be behind time next week. This time next week, won't you?
behind. But our sync will still be the same time. My schedule is designed so it's it doesn't matter which time zone I'm in. It will be
okay.
morning when I'm in
Be like
Canada.
really early in the morning. It'd be like,
Yes, that will be
Well-
like 5 a.m. for me. Yeah,
Is that okay, is it?
but that's okay. Monday 5 a.m. I wake at 4 now, so
Do you get, okay, that's one of the things I wanted to say. Do you get 8 hours?
well, I'm good with actually 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep. I'm good with that.
Yeah, you might think you're good with that. Do you get 8 hours?
I do nap as well during the day. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So biologically, medically, you need between 7.5 and 8 hours sleep a night, solid sleep.
Right. Okay.
Not what you think you need.
Okay. Right. Okay.
But what your body actually needs.
Okay.
See, and they say you need 8 hours, but solid 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
Now, obviously, during those 8 hours, you might
Right.
wake up, go,
Right. That's right. Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's okay. But
Right.
not sitting there going, not pushing yourself, because if you do that,
Mhm.
what you're doing is you're wearing your body out.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Totally agree. Yeah. It's
well, you say you fully agree, but you're not paying. You're not going to do that, are you? You're still going to go. Well, I can do 6 hours.
I am
5 hours.
prioritizing more on my sleep actually. Yeah, that actually has been a goal. So
And napping is okay,
Mhm.
and I think I think napping in Japan is really big.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's in offices, people have sort of like they can recline their desk, their seats all the way down, and they can nap in their seats.
Okay.
Desks. But
All right.
anyway,
All right.
going to the so all I'm saying to you
Mhm.
is from a JCF point of view, what I'm going to do is going to review the workflow and everything for the whatchamacallit, the ClickFunnels.
Okay.
I'm going to get that.
Okay, sure.
I will try and get that to a state that I think is good enough.
Lunchable. Okay, basically
Yeah.
a lunchable. Say okay, good.
And then you guys can, and I'll post that up to the Slack group, and people can comment, and that's that.
Okay. All right.
So that this time next week, that will be done, and then we can talk about what we do next.
Okay, sure.
So that's that.
Okay.
But I don't know, Shannon, if I'm talking out of turn here, then you need to tell me to shut up. As politely as you wish.
Okay.
So from the point of view of what you said about your training courses, wanting 1,000 users,
Right.
Do you know who they are?
Okay. So basically, I do know who my current clients are. Okay, my current people who are in the program, I know who they are. They are entrepreneurs, basically, and already have a running business that's I would say they are relatively successful in the sense that they do have core business offer clients, some reputation, brand name. Like one of my clients is actually the top provider for house cleaning service in central Taiwan. Like they have like 600 and oh, you all right?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm more
All right.
I've spilled my coffee.
Okay. So basically, I would say they are entrepreneurs who are seeking to upgrade themselves. Okay, and basically who also care about the kind of a personal life, family, versus and business balance. Okay, so this is or at least they want to they do pay attention to the not just the money making aspect, but also the more social, the family, the personal aspect. I don't think
And they're all based in Taiwan, are they?
right now that's the case. However, for this launch, we are expanding. This is also with the advice from my funnel coach, Ellen Lin. So I think I share with you that she's like the 2XX award, awardee from Russell. She obviously, I mean, we want to focus on the Chinese language market, but we want to be not just Taiwanese, but like all the different Chinese who are, who could be wanting to go global.
So
that
Chinese
includes,
speaking entrepreneurs in the Southeast East Asian market,
exactly,
ultimately,
Southeast
possibly
Asia,
Canadian, American,
exactly,
anyway,
North America, yeah, even UK, but
Yeah.
if they are speaking Chinese of Chinese origin, because I think there is and also I think I would like them to be people who like to go global, who has a global international kind of mindset or who want to scale their business. I'll tell you my ideal client, or actually, well, it's just my former or current self or future self, is unicorn builders. Okay, I think that's the ideal client. So people who are envisioning their business to become unicorn scale, sometime in the future, and who would like to do that by taking their business company to a global audience. I think that's the the most ideal client I like to help serve. And I think I can also create the best value for them, given my own trajectory or own path, right? I do strongly believe we are on path towards become unicorn. Okay. our JCF and other business.
JCF is on path to be a unicorn.
Yeah. I mean, that to me is quite obvious, because given the market, given the position, given the design, the product, I mean, it's just on a trajectory to become a unicorn. So I mean, that's the kind of clients I like to attract. Obviously, they're and also social entrepreneurs, right, who are socially, societally minded. That like business for them would be like a tool, right? It's a means, it's a main scope, not an end scope.
Okay.
Right.
All right, fine.
Is that
So
clear?
got all of that.
Clear? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got it.
It's
so
basically my formal selves, to be more exact, right? Because
okay.
I probably
have. It's okay, right. Shinyan. I just wanted to know that you'd actually kind of considered it, because that's again, regardless of what book you read,
right.
Or what strategy you're trying to deploy, it's knowing your customers, knowing your potential customers is a really important thing, right?
Right.
And then where they're going to hang out.
Right.
And so you're saying you've got financially what you want the offers to bring you in terms of revenue.
Right. For us, yeah. My goal is to help them to make at least 10x of that investment. I mean, our flagship offer would be like 1,001K, right? Would be like a 1K package. So, my goal would be to help them to realize at least 10K from that. From
your goal, but are you going to say that?
Am I going to say that? Well, no. What I'm going to say is I'm offering them to help them achieve 10x impossible goals with the latest, the best stuff that's right now in the Western world, and take that for a Chinese audience. Basically, that's my message. Like, okay, I've been with Ben since 2018. So this is the 6th year. Okay. I think I'm probably one of his longest students, even among the Westerners that's learning with Ben, right? And probably, I'm not sure like what's the percentage who started even back in 2018, right? Before it was Korean. And I'm a 2nd year strategic coach member now. Okay. I mean, it's already done. I will be in coach for the 2nd year. I intend to be on the 3rd year and actually go into free zone after 3rd year. That is actually my goal. I also told Rebecca that I like to be in the free zone, after 3 years in a coach program. And I think given trajectory of what I'm doing now, what we are doing now, I think it's a likely goal, right? I think it's a likely thing to achieve that because, given what we're doing, it's just a matter of when when we're tweaking it correctly and when we start to scale, right, to explode using technology, then it's just adding zeros, after.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So basically that is my view, my story, and what I'm sharing, right? So I just did a calculation actually. I actually spent, I think, about like something like 300, I think like 30 grand, I think.
Okay.
No, right. No, so yeah, okay, so so I mean it's that's how much that's actually already been spent. So
Okay, so you spent 30 grand in the last
no,
6 years.
sorry, 50 grand actually, 50 grand over the
Okay,
years.
fine.
Yeah.
Since what, 6 years? So
In 6
50 grand in 6
Yeah.
years.
In 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you have?
So what have I achieved or what am I offering?
No, what have you achieved with that $50,000 investment?
Okay, so with that, basically, okay, so I would say the biggest is habits, routine. Okay, really strong habits, routine. That's
Okay, so that's
resilience,
that. Yeah, but
ambition.
that
Like,
that's
okay,
just mindset stuff.
right.
That is, you and I both know that that's really valuable.
Right.
But if you sit there and say, I've invested $50,000,
okay,
you've now made it a monetary element.
okay,
And therefore you're gonna, I would suggest 99% of people, when you bring in a monetary element, will
right.
want a monetary comparison.
Okay, right.
So when I do that, I say I know that I've invested, no, I think it's like, call it 30 grand in property.
Okay, right.
Training in property.
Right.
I know I've done that.
Okay.
And I know that I've got, last time I checked, 2,500% return on investment.
Okay.
So I know that's I've actually got more of that, and every month I get more because every month profit.
Right.
So every month my profit increases.
Right.
Plus every year the value of the property increases. So over time, that initial 30 grand over the course of 5 years just keeps on growing.
Okay.
So my return on investment is exponential.
Right. I see.
But it's measurable, right?
Okay.
Because I can see that. So, one might argue, if I'm going to be, and I'm going to say something which is a little bit hard here, but be aware that if you say I've invested $50,000 into training, but if you look at your overall net worth,
right,
what's happened to immunology?
right.
The first time I met you, you said it was turning over 70,000. Right.
So
you've been more than a year since, so you should have at least got another year of accounts.
Right.
Is it greater or lesser than or the same as 70,000?
Okay.
If immunology is turning over the same or less, then that's not progress.
Okay. Right. Okay.
We've already spoken about your investment in Celsius.
Right.
And at best, the best you're going to make is a 50% loss.
Right.
So when you're dealing with monetary examples, be clear about how you're multiplying up. Because if I was sitting there listening to you tell me that, well, I'm going to help you 10x, I'll go, okay, well, how do you do that? Where have you done that?
Okay. Right.
So be clear about, well, in the last 8 years, I spent 50 grand, and I now know how to do tiny habits, and I now know how to write in my journal, and I'm really positive.
Right.
And so what? I don't care. I'm not spending 50 grand.
Okay. Right. So yeah, this is, I think, the harder part. Yeah, because in truth, it is right. I understand what you're talking about. What's the objective, right? What's the objective numeric quantitative metrics that I can share, right? So yeah, and even if it's not in terms of like monetary gain, like what are the numeric results, right? That people can understand. So and or what are the milestones, right? So I'll try to list a few. Well, passive income has 5x during this period, to about 4K a month, 3 to 4K a month before the Celsius event. Okay, that essentially our family household passive income has 5x during this period, 5 times. And also company went from 1 to 3 companies. That's another, I guess that's another thing.
Well, yeah, but are they making money?
Okay. They're en route to making money. That's nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So family wise, I'm just sharing the concrete things that actually happened. Okay. So family wise, we did a round Taiwan trip last year. Okay. So 14, like 12-day family trip. And also, I think another 8 days this past winter vacation, and then 2 weeks London trip with my daughter. Okay, this is out despite, I guess, our busy life schedule, and so that I see that as a that's a win, I think, on the family side in concrete things, and also it was getting more progressive, and also family more involved. And in fact, the last trip was like 80-90% organized by my daughter. She planned the whole thing and booked everything. So I guess that's yeah, but I mean that's a milestone, that's an event, but it's not really numeric. Yeah,
so here's the thing, right? Yeah. If you've got things to, if you maybe you don't, if you talk about 10x, most entrepreneurs, I would imagine, right? And I'm speaking for myself, and I think I'm reasonably average. I don't think I'm a superstar at anything. Right? I think I'm pretty much average.
Not yet.
So, I mean, I am what I am, right? But again, that's my own
nothing
perception.
But average. You're nothing but average.
That's my own perception. So
it's not. It may not be the right perception, though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it's where I start from my measurement, right? Because I can only measure from here,
right?
Because that's the only place I see things, right? It's from here. So, and it's measuring on where I think great is. Right. Great is always moving. Okay, so I'm always moving, but I'm still the average of my great.
Right.
Now, one might argue that I'm massively progressed from what I thought great was when I started.
Right.
That's a gain, right?
Right.
But so my point being that as an entrepreneur, when I started off, the only thing I was interested in was making money.
Right.
And I would imagine that most people that start their own business are only really interested in making money and being a success.
Right. For sure. Everybody who started a business wants to make money. That's for sure.
Okay. So if that's the case, and we're looking, so that is a desire, a goal of the type of people that you're looking
Right.
have as customers.
Exactly. All right. So thanks for that. That actually sheds a light. Okay.
Now, there's another element to this,
Right. Right.
is that if that is true,
Right.
in my assumption of being average, I actually want to do more than that now.
Okay.
Right. I actually want to build on that concept of I've made money, okay, which was a measure of success for me.
Right.
And now I want to elevate that up to the next stage, which is I want to provide like a stable income to people, which in turn will make me more money.
Right.
And then the next stage after that is to have a stable bedrock, a foundation to do something greater, more powerful for a wider audience, which is what JCF is about.
Right. That is your future self, right? You're saying that is your future self. Yeah.
So if that's the case, then where do you want the mindset of your typical customer to be? Do you want them to be, I want to make money, right? And in that context, that's your $97.
Okay.
I want to build a bedrock for me to make greater, a greater customer base, a great, something to expand the business. That's your $1,000. And your 5,000 is the guys that want to do something which is socially aware.
Okay.
And that's what I wanted to say when you were talking about it, is like, if you know your customers, then you know what's here, and then the offer will be appropriate to them for that bit. With all of that said, for me personally, I like to know that the guy that I'm listening to has achieved the goals that they're preaching about.
Right. That's right.
Otherwise it's book learning, not real life.
Right. That's true.
So
that's a great feedback. I have to be honest on this. Okay. I think I have achieved, well, out of the 4 entrepreneur freedom, because entrepreneur is about freedom, right? Different levels, different types of freedom. The 4 freedoms Dan talks about: time, money, relation, and purpose. I believe I've achieved the time freedom piece. Okay, not perfect, obviously, but more or less it's within grasp. I have complete control over my time. I can schedule, I can design, and I still have time for family, for my faith, for different aspects. And if Dan is right, like that's the prerequisite actually for money freedom. Like I think that's the thing. Maybe thanks for pointing that out, because I 100% think, I see myself moving towards money freedom now. Like this is my current stage. I'm moving towards being financially free, money freedom. But the foundation of that is time freedom, which I already have. So that is something I can definitely share about. Okay, now I might have to tell people or educate about, and this is not according to me, this is according to Dan, right? That you want to have time freedom first before you can actually achieve, stable, significant money freedom. And the reason is obvious, because without time freedom, if you are being tied up with your time, you won't have the time to learn, to think, to reflect, to upgrade yourself. You will always be making the same kind of money at the same level without the ability to upgrade, right? To go to the next level. But that is actually crucial. I mean, and the next level is not about grinding more, not about putting more effort. It's about you're doing things deeper and fundamentally different, right? That's the whole 10x concept, where we've been learning and practicing. So I think, yeah, thanks for that part. I think, and frankly, that's also the only piece I'm pretty confident about that I can share and teach people, and coach people about, which is in terms of, time freedom. And in terms of the mindset and the habit of time freedom. Yeah. So I think maybe that's kind of the central core offering I can do. you know, and I can cite a lot of evidence for my time freedom. Like I do mini trips almost on a weekly basis. So yeah, so I don't know if that's making more sense, but okay.
No, here it is. It's like I'm just throwing stuff at you that I think.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that I'm right. Certainly, I might not be right for you, definitely. But
okay.
What you say stimulates the way I think.
Okay.
And the
All
response
right.
I've given you comes from what I know of you and what
I see. Okay.
and
do you think that's a better sell though, what I just described in terms of
well, the thing is
helping
it's
people?
quite specific. You have to learn a lot before you come to that conclusion. Right?
Right.
You have to learn about the 4 freedoms first. Well, you're teaching somebody else's product.
Right.
Somebody else's concept.
Right. That's right.
How have you made it your own?
Okay. Right.
For it to be Shun Yun that's talking, that Shun Yun can sit there and say, look, I take this from Dan Sullivan's training,
Right.
and Dan Sullivan talks about these 4 freedoms. So what does that mean to me?
Right. Okay.
La 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 la. And you make it your own, right? You still reference the fact that you credit him.
Right.
But in so doing, you know, he's all about, so his thing about the whatchamacallit, the Freedom Frontier.
Right.
Is you're paying, was it 75 grand or something like that, or 50 grand a year, just to be in a club of people where you just share.
Right.
You're not competing with each other.
Right.
Whereas 10x, you're paying 25 grand
right.
to sit there and be effectively the, you know, AMP Platinum, you know, kind of that kind of. So yeah, I mean, I think you would need to understand what it is that what is it that your brand is doing? What is it that your philosophy is giving? How is it different to the multitude of people that are offering some form of coaching?
Okay.
Because if I'm sitting there reading it, I mean, the fact that, okay, so you might sit there and go, well, I'm Chinese. Right? Doesn't matter, you know, I live in Taiwan, I live in Canada. Doesn't matter where I go in the world, I'm still Chinese and I still think like this, and I'm still well, how am I measured at success? Now here's the thing. Again, personally, my experience, I've looked at different people on stage saying, yeah, I'm great.
Okay.
And the difference falls, for me, it falls into 2 parts. People I resonate with and people just that I don't resonate with.
Okay.
For me personally, the people I don't resonate with are the ones that walk on stage and go, I'm bloody marvelous. I've done all of these wonderful things. Hey, look at me. I've done this, and this. You should come to me. As opposed to somebody who walks on stage and go, well, here I am. This is my journey. I made all of these mistakes. Oh, wasn't this terrible? And then one day I thought, you know what? What if I went down this road?
Okay.
And when I got to that point, I realized that I could actually go from here to here.
Right.
And you see their journey from going from rubbish to brilliant.
Right.
And now what I'm offering you is, you know, I think everybody can go on the same journey. Got an insight on how to do it. So if you're interested, come and talk to me.
Okay.
I'd rather go with the second guy because the guy's going to, I believe in the journey that the guy has been on, as opposed to, you know, look at me. But again, both of them are offering something unique to the market, and that's their vision of what the journey is.
Right. That's Russell. I don't know if you've gone through Russell's stuff. That's exactly the path Russell encouraged. You know, sharing the origin story, sharing the epiphany bridge. Right. Of
course, I've read the book. I've read the book, but I mean, the book just emphasized what I already believed.
Right. You already like believe and know this is what you resonate. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks, Mike. I think really appreciate it. It's you're adding a lot more things for me to think and consider about. But
Well,
yeah.
I'm just sorry. I seem to think that I've got some valuable opinion for you, because I'm sure I feel like I kind of talk.
No. It's very valuable. It's very valuable. Yeah. Now my challenge task now is digest everything and then make it still work and launch it without delaying too much, right? Because yeah. But anyway, this is all good stuff. This is all very good. And I do believe that, you know, how you do anything is how you do everything. So the fact that I'm able to having a deeper insight appreciation in terms of how to present the mindset, you know, I think that affects things for JCF, you know, for whatever else we're doing as well. Yeah. I think that's
Yeah, and I think if you answer all those questions, then the offers are going to become really easy.
Okay.
Because if you have a clear path of where, you know, what you can deliver, then you can sit there and go, okay, so this bit here works really well for these guys at the $97.
Right.
Okay,
right.
fine. That makes a lot of sense. These guys here, they want to learn a bit more, and that's what they want to. That's what they're going to want to have.
Right. Okay.
You know, and then you've got your super deluxe package.
Right.
Anyway.
All right. Thanks so much. All right. How can I repay you? What you just offered.
Well,
what can I do for you?
I mean, I'm all about the money long term, really. So
okay. So help you make a lot of money. I think that you don't have to worry.
And here's the other thing. So we didn't even talk about how you know your property in Taiwan.
Okay. So
we don't have to talk about that now.
Okay.
We can talk about that next week.
Sure.
But I think the thing is, like, it's all good and well for people to tell you what to do. Ultimately, it's what feels right for you.
Right.
I think, though, for me, I always bring it out to, where do I make the money? How can I leverage the money that I make? And I still think, from that discussion last week, you know, you could do more with that $1 million more quickly than you could do if you set about trying to build some fanciful kind of eco home in the middle of a city.
Okay.
I think you would achieve your goals more quickly doing it that way. And you would suffer less financial stress.
Okay.
You take on a $10-15 million project, you know, you're going from 0 to 15 million with no experience of how to do it.
Okay.
No matter how many who's you've got, you're still going to suffer because you've got nothing to ground you onto the types of decisions that you have to make.
Okay. That's fair. So, I mean, someone who has done it should probably get involved, right?
Well, somebody who does it,
or do it. I mean, that should be the person to do it instead of me, right? That would be the who, not me.
There's a difference between you sitting there. So Dr. What's his name comes to you and goes, I've got this project. I'm raising funds.
Right.
I need $10 million. You'll then say to him, oh, it's a really great project. What's the return on investment? I'll give you 5-10%, whatever. You'll go, all right. When do you need the funds by? And you'll negotiate and you'll go, right, I'll get 10% and I'll trickle the funds over a period of time.
Okay.
And I'll get my money back in 24 months, 36 months, and plus the interest.
Right.
right? So you've now got a deal, right? That makes sense. That's different, and that's you investing. And as an investor, you can then sit there and go, I'll tell you what, I would like to turn up on site once a quarter just to see where and I'd like you to show me the process. And then you're learning from watching what the other guy is doing.
Okay.
But you're also getting paid for it by investing your money. That's a different thing to you sitting there going, right, I've got a plot of land. What do I do? And then doing it all for you, because all that you're really bringing to the table is a plot of land, which is valuable, but it's so small for this guy. He's not interested. What he wants is the bigger portion.
Right.
And we've already established the likelihood of you getting that bigger portion or being a part of the controlling factor of that bigger portion. You know, if the bigger portion is I don't know, 20 hectares, right?
It's 16 times of our size. Yeah. Or
16 times the size of what you've got.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah, 16.
Right. So 1/16.
Yes, that's what we have. Yeah.
So 1/16 is what is it? So an eighth, so a quarter, it's a half of a quarter, so it's a half of a quarter.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
If you walk into a boardroom and you say to a company that's got 16 times the size of what you've got, I'm going to control this whole project. No, you're not.
They're saying get lost, right?
I'm not handing it over to you, you muppet.
Right.
You know, I just think you've got you can do a lot with that million.
Right. Right.
You know, if you think about mindset and you think about measurement of success,
right.
Okay, you've done nothing to own that. You were just born into it, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. You know, that's your birth lottery. Okay, right, so that's what you won. You've won the birth lottery. Okay, right. How many people would like to be a millionaire? Okay, how many people, when they're starting off, want to be a millionaire? Now you can sit there and go, well, you know what? I invested $50,000 into my training, and you know that's meant that I now run 3 different companies, and some of them at different stages of their progression. I've also got, you know, and I've made some bad mistakes when it comes to investment as well. But I'm also, you know, I've learned a lot from that. And now I've just actually done a deal where I'm bringing on, you know, I've sold a plot of land which belonged to the family, and the way in which we've organised it and the way I've structured it is we've all 4 investors all 4 parties walk away with $1 million each. Right. Now the challenges I had with that was So you make it. It's not just the fact that you woke up on, you know, you were born and you got it, right? What you've done is you've negotiated and you've taken your learning and you've applied it. So you've got more than what you had. Exactly. So if you hadn't applied the learning, you would have got $4 million in total, less taxes, less the payments and the overheads and all the rest of it. So you would have had maybe sort of like 500,000 each or whatever the number is. Right. But because you've applied the learning and you've applied the mindset and you've applied to everything, you've now got $1 million each. So you've doubled or tripled or whatever the number is. Your investment. Right. Yeah. And now you can sit there, and with that, now what I've done with that $1 million is I've taken that $1 million and I've multiplied it up, because now I've portioned it off. And I'm now doing my social project. My social project is I've taken a plot of land out in da-di-da-di-da. I'm doing this eco home thing here. That's part of my. That's the first project of my eco home build, which is part of my future process. You've got a story then. Right. Which has got real numbers, which you can then relate back to your 50 grand investment. Right. Okay. So to go from 50 grand investment to $1 million profit. Right. And $1 million of profit that you can illustrate is set to make you, I don't know, 20-30% return on investment per year because of what you've invested in. Right. And if you, I tell you what, so if you,
That's a
and
fantastic
this is me being
story.
selfish. This is me being selfish, right?
Okay.
When you get your million,
Mhm.
you can give me
Mhm.
a lump of that.
Mhm.
You and I will invest that.
Mhm.
I say give it to me. You're not going to gift it to me. What you're going to do is you and I will go. We'll spring up another business,
Mhm.
and you and I will invest that a lump of that money
Mhm.
into property in the UK, and then you will then have a property portfolio which is international.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Because a chunk of your money,
Mhm.
I can then take that. I
Mhm.
can invest it into either one or a number of homes,
Mhm.
properties,
Okay.
and we can make a little portfolio,
Mhm. Okay.
and then that will generate both capital increase
Okay.
and revenue,
Mhm.
profit.
Okay.
And that will be a dividend that can be paid back into the company, which you and I are both shareholders of.
Right. Right.
That would be that would be me making money out of you from the advice that I'm giving you.
I see. Okay. Okay. That makes
And
sense. Makes perfect
me.
sense.
That's me being quite brutally honest about what I think I could do
Okay.
with you. But I know, I'm really certain, I think I've said this to you plenty of times,
Okay.
I'm really certain that I have a good knowledge about how to invest money in the UK
Mhm.
property.
Okay.
Now, you can then sit there and say to your uncles, in fact, if you wanted to, look, guys, we've made this money. This is a project I'm working on in the UK. What do you reckon?
Mhm. Okay.
And then actually we make it even bigger and bigger.
Right. Right.
And a lot of what China is doing, a lot of people in China, and Russia, they're all investing in London. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily the best thing to do, because you're on a capital gain model only.
Mhm.
But so then, but I guess what I'm illustrating to you is there are different ways that you can sit there and go, well, we've taken that million. I've taken that million and I've put a chunk here, a chunk there, a chunk there. I'm getting 10%, 5%, 15%, 30%. So overall, on average, I'm taking that million and I'm making, 45% profit.
Right. Mhm. Okay.
You have numbers that you can work with.
Hmm.
But anyway,
That's fantastic.
sorry, mate. Do talk too
No, no,
much.
no, 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 no. I think value is being created this way, and in fact, I am seriously thinking what you just suggested is a brilliant idea. I like to see that happen actually, and
Me too.
in fact, I think you know what I'm up to. Tokenized real estates. That's what I'm up to. You know. Yeah.
Well, okay. So
Yeah.
no, that's really interesting, because if you're so no, seriously, if we're okay. So the challenge here,
Mhm.
if you're going to do that in the UK,
Right.
then what has to happen first is you need to own 100% of the property.
Why can I
Is
just join like a club for I mean I don't
no,
have to own the real estate. Can I
no.
own like a piece of the operation or the company that owns the property? Because that's the exact model I like to
Okay.
see happen in Taiwan actually. A company will
So
own the real estate, and
right,
or even it can be even like project based.
you or the
Right.
company,
Right.
doesn't matter.
Mhm.
They have to own 100% of the property.
Yeah, sure.
Has to be 100% funded by
Mhm.
the token group,
Mhm. Okay.
because
Mhm.
no lender
Mhm.
will lend against that.
Mhm. Okay. Hmm.
Nobody's going to do it,
Hmm.
because
Okay.
no lender
Uh-huh.
wants part of the money, part of the property, part of the asset
Right.
to be leveraged by somebody else.
Right. True. So what I'm saying is there should be a company that owns 100% of the
Yeah.
properties that's being invested, right? And the way to tokenize that is that the company will, present a contract and saying that, we will issue X amount of tokens, right? Let's say in my case, right? Let's say 1,000, right? Let's say we're
Okay.
issuing 1,000 NFTs.
So
Each,
here's
Right.
Here's the thing, regardless of that,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Conceptually though, now what I've said to you in the past is that if I had £100,000, I could turn that into £400,000 worth of assets.
Right. Okay.
That's not going to work.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to be
Okay.
able to do that with a
Huh.
tokenized project.
Okay.
A tokenized project will be £100,000 will turn into £100,000 worth of assets.
Right.
So if you want to illustrate how you can make something grow, then the asset project, the blockchain property project,
Right.
take a longer period of time
To grow.
to make it work. It's going to take a longer period of time.
Okay.
If you wanted to get a result today, then I know how to do it. We leverage what is already there and working.
Why can't that be somehow tokenized? Why can't that
You
be
have to own it 100%, Shunyun, for it to be tokenized.
right?
You, the company, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. The ownership has to belong 100% to the company to tokenize.
Right. That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Yeah, and that's not going to turn around quickly. You're not going to be able to illustrate asset growth quickly. I can take, if I have £100,000, I can turn it into a £400,000 asset.
I see. Okay. By borrowing, right? Is it because of the leverage effect of the borrowing against the assets? I see.
Straight away, I've taken 1 and turned it into 4. That's a 400% increase in asset value that I control.
I see. You have a controlling interest, right? Although technically the bank owns,
owns 3 of it. I own 1 of it. Right.
But
the thing is, I own the asset and I can control the asset.
Right.
I also control the flow of revenue that comes in from that.
Exactly. Right.
It also means when it grows over the next 5 years, I own growth.
Okay, so why is it that with a tokenized model, you cannot get that lending borrowing?
They're not going to do it, Shunyun. They don't want to, because let's ignore the fact that it's blockchain. If you sat there and went, if I went to a lender, and I said to the lender, I own, I'm going to own 5% of it. Shunyun's going to own 5%. His uncles are going to own 5%. So in total, we all own 25%, and we're all going to share it. Like, they're not interested, right? They might be, but broadly speaking, it's a greater risk to the lender, because the lender will sit there and go, yeah, but what happens if uncle number 3 wants to pull out? What happens then? What happens if there's an argument? What happens if that group dissolves?
Okay, all right. So here's right.
So the thing is, you protect that through legal frameworks. Now, there are certain legal frameworks that you can put in which will eradicate the fear that the lender will have, but fundamentally, you're and it's a matter of how you present it, right? Which really makes it work,
right?
But your lender will go on the idea that if I see it and perceive it as being split out legally between a group, I have no control over my portion of what's being borrowed.
Right. What if that legal entity is just a single company?
Yeah, I mean, there is that, but again,
I'm not talking about, I mean, like these, let's say you have 1,000 backers, right? Or 1,000 investors put in, let's say, just like whatever, 1,000 each, right?
The way, well, again, the more it's different. If I sit there and say to a lender, hey, me and my business partner, we have a company, and we've got £100,000 in the company. Right, where did the money come from? So KYC, AML. Who's this business partner? Where's he from? Where did he get his money from?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Unless you can, if you can't show the transactional history of the flow of money,
right.
they're not going to want to do it. If you've got 1,000 investors in the company and they've all put it through, then the problem you've got then is, how do you illustrate AML KYC?
They all have to pass KYC. I mean, legally, like.
Yeah, and I'm saying, if you want to do it, it's going to be longer to overcome the issues. If you want to do it quickly, you do it the way that it's normally done, and you build for the future.
Oh, okay.
What you're talking about is doing something which you can, I would say, if you want to illustrate that you can make something work, make it work, right?
Right.
So if you want to sit there and show that you've got 50 grand and you've turned that into $1 million, and then you've turned that $1 million into a profit generating machine of 45% or 50% or whatever it is, then you need to illustrate that quickly. If you then want to sit there and go, well, I've got a project here which is blockchain, and that's blockchain property, and that's going to take 10 years before it realizes whatever, or 5 years or whatever, then you've got that. But then don't necessarily sit there and go, well, I'm only ever going to do that because that's the new latest thing that I want to focus on.
Right.
You need lots of little things going on, right? You want your 90-10% kind of ratio. Putting money into a blockchain kind of project, that's a 10%. Putting money into a standard recognized property thing, that's a 90%.
Okay, I see. Okay.
You put $400,000 into Celsius.
Right.
You put all your money, you put 100% of your money into what should have been a 10% project.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So don't complicate things.
Right.
If you want to make money, don't think about the wild, impossible goals.
Right.
And go, well, let's do a project which is, out there in the distance. If you want to make money on the goals which work today, the models which work today.
Okay.
Because you're taking knowledge which is known and understood, and concepts which are understood, and then you're generating something which develops and grows. With that, you can siphon off a chunk of it, and then go into the project which is new.
Okay.
And what happens then is one of those new 10% will exponentially grow because where the market goes, right? And that's where you make your money. But your safety is the fact that you've got 90% of what you got.
Right. I see. And that's okay. Thanks.
So let me just let him out the door because he's
okay. All right.
Oh, sorry.
Wow, thanks, Mike. I think what you just described is actually a formula of how to multiply money. It is a formula, right?
No, I know.
And I mean, if you can continuously leverage the 90%, 10% ratio, right? And make sure, for example, the 10% always goes into something that might have an exponential much bigger return, right? That I see it, kind of from the 10x framework. It's kind of like a ceiling and a floor concept, right? You want to have the 90% in safe investment vehicles. That's like your floor. And then, you can raise up the ceiling, right, in terms of your ROI. But once you achieve some success there, that might become your new floor, right?
Yeah.
You put the money you earn into something and becomes your new floor. And again, you have something stable, and you again leverage the 10% into something new, right? So, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, I probably would use an 80-20 model as opposed to 90-10, but
okay.
With my own money, but I don't have enough of that to play with.
All right. Thank you so much. All right.
All right, my friend. Sorry again if I go on too much. I'm sorry, but there you go.
No. This is absolutely fantastic. Okay. So, all right. I'll definitely try to make it work. And okay. And with JCF, we actually already have an 80% stuff that is, that is stably making money. So I think it's how we want to leverage that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Sorry, take care and enjoy
See you later.
yeah, next week then. All
Okay,
right.
bye-bye.
Take care. Make it a great week. Take care.